Hello. Welcome everybody to the latest installment of Ali. This is episode 11 and we are ready to begin. I'm a little congested today. But hello, greetings everybody on the Twitch and hopefully the YouTubes a little bit later on. Episode 11 of Ali is now airing. The question for today is quite simple, but I feel like judging by the people that are in the Discord waiting right now, it's going to be a little bit more complex. The question for today is, why is it hard to communicate with others? Now, as per usual, I'm going to go ahead and kick this off with my answer for today. And let's sit and talk about this for a second, guys. Let's talk about this for a second. I'm going to keep my answer short. Allergies, help me. All right, I'm gonna keep this one short. One, I do not believe that it is hard to communicate with other people, and I'll tell you why. The reason why I say this is because we live in an age where it is virtually impossible to not communicate with other people in some way, shape, or form. So from my perspective, I'm looking at every single device, tablet, computer, everything that we have at our disposal. And I'm trying to think about any situation where it is hard for me to communicate with somebody in some way. Now, I know that there's going to be people that are sitting here like, well, you know, I'm not good with people, or I'm not good with face-to-face communication. And maybe you're right about that. That's fine. But also know, if you're not good at that, you have the option to pick up this magical tablet device. Type in something that you feel in any way, shape, or form and send it out into the ether to whoever you want to talk to, unless they have like 1 million followers and you can't reach them. But my point here is that it shouldn't be hard to communicate with people, judging by the sheer amount of accessibility that we have to other people. Now, of course, if you're talking about in terms of like actually being able to talk about feelings and deeper things like that, okay, I'll give you that. Maybe it is a little bit harder to do something like that, or maybe it's very hard to do something like that, depending on the person you are. But none of this is stuff that you can't get better at with time. And this is one of those things that I really gotta stress. If you're saying that you're not a people person, that's on you. You can become a people person. I used to be really introverted. I'm sitting here talking to all of you guys right now as a completely different person because it took work and it took practice to do. You can become whatever kind of person you want, very good at communicating or not, and it'll be completely up to you at the end of the day. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and open it up for people that may or may not have a counter argument to what I'm saying. I'm going to hop into the Discord, and judging by the chat, it looks like I've turned some people on. This is exciting, and I'm about to get ready to go. So, we're going to go ahead to the first person in line, Coolness. Let me get my timer started or timer opened up, I should say.
Oh.
What? Okay. All right, we got 5 minutes on the clock and we're ready to go. Oh shit, hold on. There we go. Coolness, what is good? Welcome to the Ali show. How are you doing today? Episode 11. Why is it hard to communicate with others? Hello.
My man. It's good to talk to you.
Damn it, yo.
I'm back.
This man's voice. Hold on. Let me turn you up, bro. You deserve to be heard. He said, oh. Wait, can you
are you ready?
Yo!
So, oh, man. I love it, man.
Hold on a second. Wait. Can you say?
Oh no! Here we go.
Can you say, "I am Optimus Prime"?
Dude, you don't know how often I get asked that. I've got that down pat. You ready? I am Optimus Prime. Autobots, roll out.
Yo.
I don't know what's better. The chat reaction or your reaction, man. It's freaking golden, man.
Hold on, bro. I'm gonna add to that chat reaction. Dog! Bro, even his laugh sounds epic. What the fuck? He's sitting here like,
it's how I roll, man. It's like how I get out of bed each day. I just wake up and go, makes the world better.
help me. I'm sorry. Yo, my eyeballs hurt. Hold on. My face is tired.
Like you got the jaw and cheek soreness going on right now, because I do. Oh, it's ridiculous. I gotta lift jaw weights at the gym to support this laughter. It's stupid.
Yo, I'm in here with Darth Vader, you guys.
Hold on. You know what's better is actually Bane. All you have to do is Sean Connery into a cup. Ready?
Wait.
You adopted the darkness. I was born in it, molded by it.
Wait, sir, what a lovely voice.
Oh, what a lovely
voice.
Bro, I'm sorry. We got hella sidetracked. I'm sorry. But listen, yo. Yo, you gotta understand how dope that shit was. Yo, I want this man to voice every character in my anime, like.
But Damakan, where are you gonna go? I'm gonna go to the east side, where all of the bitches are.
Yo, help me. Wait. Just let me cover. Okay.
All right. Woosah.
I just want to say that I'm your biggest fan.
You might have competition now. I'm not sure. Oh my! I got the 6-pack workout for the Dagon. Man, that was good.
This is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna hand the stream over to you. This is yours, man. Roll the B film, bro. I don't know.
Today on ALE episode 11.
Stop! Okay, wait. You're giving me ideas and it's killing me right now.
Ali, I'm sorry to say, but you are fired. Coolness, welcome to the ALE show. You are now the host.
Yo, it's great to be here.
Oh
So
my
glad to have you.
god, guys, I'm gonna have to hire you, fam. Like no funny shit, bro. Like, yo,
dude,
we gonna have to work.
I'm
on something,
keen.
man.
I'm game, man. I will be gone for a few months, 2 months, because I'll be overseas. But I'm down.
Nah, we gonna put you to work. This is all right. Y'all gonna hear his voice somewhere. Don't. All right. Sorry.
In my dreams. Oh, sorry.
Ooh.
All right. Oh my. All right. You know what? We're done with you. All right. That was his answer. Bye. Stop.
Bye.
Okay.
All right. Composure.
You ready?
Here we go. Yeah.
All right. 5 minutes. You got an answer for me? Let's hear.
Yes. All right.
What you
So
got?
I completely agree with you. Firstly, that it is easy to communicate. It's a matter of finding the right medium and getting on the right level with somebody to be able to establish the rapport with which to communicate. And in this case, it was opening it up with the laughter. Great example, right? Just taking something that you have and using it to give that warm smile. One of the things that happened to me when I moved up to Seattle is I started frequenting this coffee shop. And one of the baristas confessed to me, she said, when you first walked in here, you looked like trouble. Long hair, long beard, dark clothes, the whole nine. But as soon as you opened up and started talking, you were the biggest teddy bear ever. And that was very important for me because I've always had the fear that I'm presenting myself too scarily, I guess, but it just takes opening up. The thing is that it's easy to communicate. For some people, it's hard to feel resolved. It's hard to feel like you've reached a resolution, and that can happen for a few reasons. There can be times where people who listen to reply instead of listening to understand are in your conversation. And that causes issues with resolution. The other bit of it, of course, is just getting lost in the chorus. There might be a lot of people who are saying the same thing as you, or who are just saying it louder, and not in like a metaphorical sense, but maybe, just speaking over you. Communication is an art, but it can be learned by anybody, and it can be molded to suit your purposes, and you can do it very effectively.
Damn. Wait, is that? I don't want to cut you off.
No, I was waiting for your
Okay.
for your response.
Okay, so it's cool to see that we're in agreement with this, because from the reaction of chat, it sounds like a lot of people don't agree with me, but I feel like that's that key word, finding your medium, the medium thing. You know what I mean? Finding out where you best can put your voice to work, and then working with that is probably the greatest thing that you can do. And our opportunity to do that has never been better. My dude,
Yes.
you want to know something? You should start a podcast. like no funny shit. You can do it for free.
sure.
You know what I'm saying? You could literally sit and talk about, like, okay, what's something that you're interested in?
Dude, I'm all over the place. So, Viking stuff, I'm actually doing, on somebody else's podcast, I'm going through a Pathfinder campaign with somebody. So, I put that stuff to use, because communication isn't always about, relaying back and forth. Sometimes it's just about drawing people in, because communication ultimately is just a conduit with which to share thoughts and ideas and imagination. And that's what helps us as humans. Like I mentioned in the prior episode, social animals grow.
Man, I was thinking about this the other day. The fact that our entire universe runs on information, right? And technological advancements, every single technological advancement has been in direct relation to the amount of information that it can carry. So for example, when the Industrial Revolution happened, that was literally just things being able to happen faster and faster, and information being transported faster and faster, communication happening faster and faster. And now with our digital age, bro, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
all communication and transporting information. That's literally all that everything is, just the constant feedback loop, so to speak.
Yes.
Getting faster and faster. And that's why I'm like, dude, like, if you have any type of way to express your thoughts to whatever this whole thing is, the ether, you know what I'm saying? Use it. Like for me, it's video. And that's like been my bread and butter for a long time. Like I just love video stuff. And I love sound stuff too, but like voice, video, and the written word.
Yeah, for sure. And in that regard too, people communicate using their acoustic guitar. They communicate using that paintbrush. They communicate using photography. It's easy to communicate. It's just a matter of making sure that you feel like, understanding that you've been heard. That's the big thing.
Yep. That's the key. And it's like, I think that's why a lot of people get discouraged when it comes to like content creation, because they'll be talking or communicating through what they love to do, but yet they feel as though there's no feedback. You know what I mean? Nobody's watching, or there's no effect with
Shouting
what
into the void. Yep.
Exactly. And that's the worst feeling. It's really shitty. It is really shitty, And like, I feel that because it's like, it makes you think that what you're doing doesn't matter. But I've heard it put like this, right? When you do things, when you do something that's documented, right? like this, for example, and you put it somewhere, it's literally like having an entire database of you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely.
like, bro, like, I'm so happy that even if it's just bullshit, you know what I'm saying? Even if me streaming was just like sitting and just screaming at the top of my lungs playing a video game, right? Even if it's like just something that doesn't seem consequential, I can look back at that in like 20 years.
Yes.
And be like, dude, like that was me. Because I wish that I had all my memories stored on a flash drive somewhere, honestly, just so I can look back.
Yeah. I'll leave you with a parting saying, and it's from the Poetic Eddas, because I always mention Viking stuff. It's from the Poetic Eddas, and it stands as 77 from the Havamal. And it goes, cattle die, kinsmen die, even the self must die. But I know of one thing which does not die, the reputation of a person.
Man, what you leave behind.
Yep.
That's all that matters at the end of the day. That's why, bro, that's why the freaking legacy thing to me is so important, bro.
Yep.
Like, there's
Absolutely.
a reason I'm doing all this shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not just doing this just because I'm bored. Like, I'm doing this because I want to do something that matters. That's it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man.
But yeah, bro. Bro, coolness, you are the coolness, for real. Thank you, dude. Like, for real, for real, for real.
Dude, I appreciate the time, and I'll be stopping back here in a few months. I'll try to drop by the stream, but wish you the best of endeavors over the coming weeks and months.
All right, cool, man. You too. Let me know when you're back, too. Gotta holler at you.
Hold on a second. Are you actually in Seattle?
Uh-huh.
Hey.
Hey.
Oh, my God.
Me too. What's
Shut up. All right, get out of here.
Bye.
Oh, my God. Yes, that was coolness, man. Coolness. Thank you for coming through and sharing your thoughts. Very, very, very eloquently spoken. Try to forget his voice, okay? Remember me. Remember, I'm here, guys. Okay? All right, cool. Now, it looks like, who do we have next? Otia. Otia is up next. All right, let's get it popping. We're gonna get him in. Otia, welcome to the stream and the show. How you doing today, buddy? Ali, or A Ali, I should say, episode 11. Why is it hard to communicate with others?
You know, because, you send a text to someone saying you're going to be somewhere, and then they don't respond for like 3 hours.
Here we go.
And it's on their...
They're ungodly drunk and high.
Hey, man.
And screaming.
I was just trying to hang out with the fam. Me and Mav left outside the club. I don't want to bring anything up or anything, you know? I was just sorry. Okay.
Guys,
anyways.
I was busted, all right? I just want to let people know this. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah. I mean, as ready as I'm gonna be.
As ready as I'm gonna be? All right.
Yeah.
Here we go. What you got for me?
All right. So why is it hard to communicate with others? Being someone that works with a lot of different people.
You actually
Every
work
single-
in communications.
Yeah. And so I get a slew of different things. I get people that can't speak the same language, things like that. One of the things that I actually just wanted to talk about is just like one of the things growing up, I kind of learned through working with music. I got the chance to work with a class of special needs people, and they really couldn't communicate effectively through any means. They weren't able to really speak or anything like that. And the teacher brought me in to do a music performance. We had, my barbershop group, things like that. We just came in to do a music performance and do Disney music and stuff, just kind of silly, music. And that for me, it was a moment where it went from they really were just kind of in their own world to full focus, full attention, full understanding of what was going on. And it was like a surreal moment for me. It was a moment where I went from understanding that I could speak with words, I can hear music, I can hear what people say, but it's like, for me, music transcends every other language. It transcends every language barrier, everything like that. And for me, it's the ultimate mode of communication. I can give an idea, I can give a thought, I can give whatever it is, an emotion, through just music. And I know one of the biggest things for me was going through that and having to see that next layer of a barrier, that saying that it's not hard for us to really communicate. It's hard for a lot of us to interpret. Like, for those of us that don't have an avenue to speak, those of us that don't have an opportunity to express our feelings, because we physically can't, we have to reach out. We have to reach out through other means. It can be music, it could be art, it could be writing, it could be whatever it may be. But for us, that's the only way. That's the only way to communicate. And for the longest time, I went through a phase where I couldn't really communicate effectively. But I remember being able to sing, being able to make music, to show people what I felt. And they took that and they interpreted it. And it's different for every person. You could basically save someone's life, or you could lift someone's day, make someone angry. It doesn't matter what it is. The purpose of it is for them to interpret it. And that's where the hardness of communication comes through, because there's no way to tell someone how to interpret what you're actually saying. Yeah. So that's something that I've definitely learned, especially like working with a bunch of different people. I can be the nicest person to every single customer that walks through that door, but it's how they interpret it, how the rest of their day has gone, and how they feel if I'm genuine. If they've seen me before, they're probably a little bit more receptive of it. They're like, "Oh, I really love, your energy," things like that. But if it's someone new, I remember someone on my team said, "God bless you" to a customer, and the customer turned around and was ready to fight. And like, what? How dare you bless me? I'm atheist. Because they thought it was being rude. And so it's all about, how someone can interpret it. And you just have to give the best delivery of it, no matter what, every single time. It's like a performance. Every single time that I had a performance, I gave it every single bit of me, because every time that I do a performance, it's different. No matter how many times I practice, it will be different every single time. So for every single person that gets the opportunity to hear it, it will be different, and they'll be able to interpret it different. It's that's really what it is. It's just, can we communicate on a general level, or can we communicate on a specific? And for the most part, the general level is the easiest way for us to communicate. It's hard when it gets real specific.
Yeah, you're right. It's like, damn, it's kind of like, I forget what it is. There's like a principle that kind of talks about something like that, where it's like, the more specific you try to get about something, or the more descriptive you try to get about it, the harder it becomes. And I think that's like, that goes double for trying to express ideas, and especially like abstract, like anything abstract, honestly. And when whenever you try to get more specific about it, that's when it gets harder, because you gotta extrapolate on it even more and more. And yeah, you're right. I didn't take into account the interpretation part, because for me, I guess it was more like your ability to communicate, but not necessarily the other person's ability to interpret / receive your communication in the way that you intended. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it definitely doesn't make sense. Like it and there's just like small things that as humans we're starting to lose. Communication was one of the hardest things for us to learn, and it's one of the easiest things for us to lose because it's something there's no correct way to do it. You know, cavemen, what do they have? You know, they have drawings. They have drawings and and like
Grunts.
it was very basic, but they were able to communicate effectively with each other, right? Because it was simple. It was general ideas. We started learning words. We started learning different languages. We started learning different dialects. You know, it's like whatever we learned, it became more complex. I can't go to another country and be like, yep, I understand you. No. And that's where we became complex. And like every single day, every single language that's learned, every single every single thing that is increased, we start to pull away from how easy it is to communicate.
So this is my question for you. This is the kicker question.
Yeah.
Do you think that it is easier than it ever was to communicate or harder to communicate in this age that we're in?
I think if you're talking in terms of connecting with one another, it's easier. We have the internet, we have phones, we have whatever resource. But at the same time, are you calling your grandma every day?
No.
Exactly.
No.
It's so, again, it is harder because now we have so many connections.
There's actually a study that was done that showed that humans could only have like 150, I think it was. It was like there's like a specific number of meaningful connections that any human can have, or any like social animal period can have at any point in time. It was like 150 or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I 100% believe that because when you break it down, when you break down your interior circle, there's only so many people that you can communicate with on a daily basis. Oh yeah. And it just makes it harder. The second that you step outside of that comfort bubble, you start reaching out to you start reaching out to things that aren't really good communication. It's like, hey, you know, like it gets tossed to the wayside. It gets interpreted badly because it's like half-assed. So that's really what it is. It is harder because we have so many opportunities to connect with another person.
This is dope. You're right. I feel that. No further questions, Your Honor.
Yeah, I mean, you got Cat coming up next. It's over.
All right, let's hear it. I'm ready.
Right. I'm gonna pop out.
All right, thank you for calling in, man. Much appreciated. Always. Your input is always welcome. As you can see, the chat loves you. So stay beautiful, fam.
I'm gonna stay beautiful. Maybe next time your birthday is up, you know, you might actually text me back.
Okay,
I gotta go. All right.
I will never not get shit for that. Guys, I was really busted on my birthday. Like,
well, Tia, just so you know, when I was trying to deliver his birthday cheesecakes, it took him 6 hours to reply back to me. So it's okay.
Guys, I just want you guys to understand, if you got a cheesecake to send to me, send it through email.
I don't want to hear any complaints that it's not fresh.
Stop. Oh my God. All right. Now that I'm not embarrassed anymore, we got Cat Cartel coming in next. Let's see here. Cat Cartel, hello, welcome to the ALE show. Whoa, episode 11. Why is it hard to communicate with others? How you doing?
I'm doing okay. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing good, girl. You know what I'm saying? You said, I'm doing good. How you doing?
So we're not going to start like that already.
All right, fine. I had to turn you up a little bit. Talk again?
Okay, I'm talking.
All right, y'all can hear her, right? We good?
Are we good? Are we Gucci?
Your levels look fine on OBS.
Okay.
All right, cool. So, you know how this goes. This is your first time on the show, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, I've been, busy with some other stuff, and I like every time that I'm done, you're like wrapping it up. Or there was a couple of times, but then you're like, okay, last one, and I'm just sitting there like, never mind, then I won't do it.
Okay, my bad. This is your debut.
Oh,
This is your
wow.
debut. So, are you ready for this?
I'm ready. Are they?
Chat, are you? Shit, I mean. All right, let me stop. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. What you
Okay. Well, being someone that is a counselor and I have a background in this, like, there's many different ways that can, like, that this question can be answered. But the question, the thought that I have is, but can you understand? Do you listen? Because if you can communicate, that's great. But can you listen? Because if you don't listen, if you can't comprehend, if you can't internalize what's being spoken to you or what's even around you, how can you properly communicate? You know what I mean? Because a lot of smart people, a lot of really, really smart, educated people have a really hard time communicating with everyone, right? Because being smart doesn't mean that you're a good communicator.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you have the skills. It doesn't mean that you have the reception. You know what I mean? Because communication is like a call. You put them out and you get them in, right? And people forget to listen. People forget to put in that time and that care. Because with communication, do you have the care to make sure that you're being heard? That people can understand you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a difference between communicating and really resonating with people and just spewing things out there. Because y'all were talking about how easy it is to like communicate now, and there's different ways and stuff like that. But can you really communicate, or are you just speaking out loud? Are you making an impact with people? Are you making an impact with yourself? Are you making headway with yourself? You know what I mean? And I feel like you could look at it a bit more technical. Do you have the content of your communication? Do you have clarity? Do you have context? Do you have structure? Do you have language skills, fluency, accent, and can you hold people's attention? There's so many different aspects to communicating and why it may be harder for people. There are people who have anxiety, like myself and a whole bunch of other people. There are so many different factors as to why someone may be really good at communicating and why people can't, because it's easy to communicate like about light topics, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, I went to the gym and I did this. Rather than, well, you hurt my feelings, so this is why, And when we try to communicate with people on a deeper level, now it seems a bit harder because nobody wants to listen anymore. It's, well, this is how I feel, so I don't care what you gotta say, right? So I feel like it's not much so people having a hard time communicating, but understanding what communication is and what goes into it. Because it's not just talking. You could talk all you want, but are you listening? Are you receiving? And that's the question that I have.
Are you what is it? Are you a walkie-talkie or a radio?
Exactly. Do you just have enough care and room for yourself? Are you selfish like that? Do you even care to hear anybody? And I feel like people need to question that about themselves if they find it so hard for them to communicate.
Damn.
Because we all have different needs, right? Because I don't know if everybody's here, or you or anybody has heard the love languages. Everyone has different love languages, but I believe personally that there are communication languages as well, because we all need something for our soul. We all need different things, right? So what do you need for someone to communicate to you, for you to understand, and vice versa? What do you need from them? What can you provide and what do you need?
Damn. That's a good amount of info to chew on. I think, wait, first of all, I don't want to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So I wanted to point out what you said earlier about, you could be the smartest person on earth, but if you can't communicate with others, then it's going to be really hard for you, right? And someone that immediately came to mind was like Elon Musk, because when I think of Elon Musk, I think of somebody that's just really charismatic, but in a way that doesn't seem forced. Like, he's an incredibly smart person, and I know for a fact that he didn't start off being able to like do public speaking and stuff like that. Like, that was one of the things that he was never really good at. and he had to work on that because he is a really smart guy and he has some really crazy great ideas, but if he was unable to communicate those ideas, then who would he have been? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think about that all the time. Like, that's why, like, I don't know, that's why I really want to stress the importance of like being able to kind of get out of your shell, you know what I mean, and really like try to connect with people. And that's kind of like why I think this show is like really important too, is because it forces me to listen a lot, you know what I mean? And I don't know, it's like it's taught me to be a lot more receptive too in the process.
Well, with you saying that, we've been friends for a long time now, and we've had many a conversation about many different topics. But there's a very big difference between who you were back then and who you are now, because I don't have to yell at you as much now, So I feel like you listen more. Therefore,
you're a little hard head.
But you still do the same things, but at least you're working on it. You know what I mean? Like, this whole new direction that you're taking things is great, because you are listening more. But, about the whole listening thing or whatever, a lot of people put up barriers too, like, so people can't even communicate with them. So I feel like that's very important for people to pay attention to. Are you putting up a barrier that you're communicating and it bounces back at you, but it's a self-fulfilling prophecy of a cycle that you can't communicate because you're doing it to yourself? And I feel like communication is about self-awareness.
Yeah.
If you don't have awareness, I don't think you can be a great communicator, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, because you got to know where your faults are.
You got to know where your faults are, and you got to know how to fix them. Because people want what they want. People want, but are you willing to give? If you're not willing to give and to make changes, then how can you want? How can you want to communicate? A lot of people want to be heard, but they don't want to do any listening.
Yep. Yo.
So if you don't want to listen, then I guess you don't want to be heard, because if you can't show that respect to other people, but the respect to yourself, to pay attention to yourself and fix the things that make you, not who you want to be, not where you want to be, then how can you ask for that? How can you ask for communication? How can you communicate?
It's like this. This is basically what kind of put it into perspective for me. So I don't know if you guys know who this is, but Earl Nightingale. If you don't know who Earl Nightingale is, look the guy up. He has a godly voice, first of all, but also he had this like spoken word where he sat and it was called like The Strangest Secret in the World or something like that. But all in all, he was talking about how, like, he brought up a really good point where you have to serve in order to earn. You know what I mean? Like, people always have it backwards, like, oh, I need to be successful so I can give back. But it's like, no, like, what you give will determine your success in the long run. Especially
a lot of people have success, but is it true success?
Yeah.
Do you have, superficial success that you can flash in people's faces and it's a barrier, like I said? Or do you have success within yourself? Are you happy with yourself? If you didn't have the success, if you didn't have everything that you have now, would you be happy with yourself right now? This is going into a whole nother topic.
Yeah,
but
I know. It's dope, though.
But it does have something to do with it, because if communication is a projection of yourself, of what you want to put out there, right? But you got to be able to receive. That's that's all I'm gonna say. So communication is not just about what you want; it's about what you have to offer, but what you can retain inside.
Give and take.
Yep.
Man, this is dope. Do you have any parting words for anybody in the chat? Anything that you would like them to remember for tonight?
I think that I would want people to remember that even if you're not good at communicating right now, don't limit yourself by saying, well, it's just me, or it's just this. Pay attention to yourself and be aware of yourself, but also be patient and kind to yourself. Be a better friend to yourself, because if a friend was beating themselves up with how they can't communicate, you would tell them, it's all right, just give yourself time, it's all right. You would be nicer to a friend, so you have to be nicer to yourself. So if you're not good at communication and it's hard for you, or you have some issues like that, just be a better friend to yourself and take care of that in your own time. Just keep making the steps forward and you'll get better at communicating.
I feel it. Good job. That was beautiful.
Okay. I'm
Well
done.
spoken.
Okay.
Hey. All right.
Hey.
Well, thank you for coming on to the show. Whoa. I appreciate it. This was
No
your
problem.
debut. I think you did really damn good. So I'm gonna hit you with the ewoke emotes. You know what I'm saying?
Because you already know I'm woke, okay?
Hey, yeah, you know now she ain't sleep. All right. But yeah, man,
Okay.
we're gonna go ahead and get with the other people that are in
Yes,
here.
please. I'm doing too much talking, okay? I'm
Oh
done.
my gosh. All right. I will holler
I'm
at you
done.
whenever. Thank you for coming through. Hope to see you on another
Thank you
one.
for having me. Bye.
Bye. All right. That was Cat Cartel. If you guys do not know, she does artwork. Beautiful pieces of work she does. Brought up some really good points. Communication is a give and take. It's a play. It's a dialogue between two or more, even. The exchange of bountiful ideas. Let me stop. All right. So the next person we got coming in is Shadowless King. I think that you guys know Shadowless King better as, I think this is Kier. Hello. Welcome to episode 11 of AI Lee. What's good? Why is it hard to communicate with others?
What's up, bro? What's up?
All right, hold on. Let me turn you up a little bit. All right, speak again.
What's up?
All right, there we go. What's good, man? You ready to answer this question? It's your first time being on here too, I think.
No, it's my second time. It's been a while. It's been a while.
All right, clean. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. What you got for me?
All right. Why is it hard to communicate with others? Like, I'm just gonna be blunt. You can talk your mouth off.
Mm-hmm. Wait, me or just in general?
In general.
Oh,
You
I was
can-
like, damn, okay.
Like you can talk your mouth off, but it's not gonna matter if they don't care to listen.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they don't care about what you're saying, they're not going to want to listen, whether you want them to or not.
Agreed.
And it's disappointing because communication is what brings humanity together and separates them.
Mm.
Because when you have a lack of communication, you have a lack of understanding. And when you have a lack of understanding, that leads to, you guessed it, misunderstanding. And that just causes a whole plethora of problems. And the thing is, there's no excuse to have lack of communication. If you can't speak, do sign language.
Yeah, there's always a way. There's always a way. It's crazy.
Do sign language, bring you like a whiteboard or a marker, write it down if you have to.
Mm-hmm.
That makes no sense to me. And it's hard. It's easy and it's hard at the same time. Because depending on the person you're talking to them may be the easiest thing in the world. And then it's almost as if when you switch to a different topic, everything changes. Like you know,
what?
Basically you talking to that person about a certain thing, they may not want to communicate with you about that, and then that makes it difficult. And honestly, like like communication being like language barrier,
Mm-hmm.
or they don't speak at all. But make some kind of gesture, like do something. Like there's no excuse. As a matter of fact, I work at a grocery store where there are plenty of foreign people that don't speak English. And the thing is, they attempt, they point to the sign, or they bring me the salesperson, then they point at the item. They make an attempt.
Mm-hmm. Even if they're not even speaking the language.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And like humanity and communication should be on the same page, but they're not.
And do you think? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, go. No, actually, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, what do you think would put them on the same page? And probably more importantly, even like let's say we were all able to perfectly understand and communicate with each other, then what? That's probably like
Then,
the big question I have for today too.
you know what? If we all understood each other, even then, there would still be problems because you may not like what that person say, and then that would lead to arguments.
Mm-hmm.
And but arguments, debates, and conflict that pushes the world forward.
I feel that.
Basically, it's like if you want to get biblical, it's like the Tower of Babylon, right?
Oh, I know this story. Tower of Babel.
Yeah,
Is that what
like
it is?
everybody spoke
One
same
language.
language, but then they spoke the same language, but they came to each other instead of God for
Mhm.
answers, which is why God made everybody speak a different language.
Mm-hmm.
But when you think about it, isn't that kind of messed up?
That's really all right. Sorry, I have an answer for you. Actually, I have an answer for you, but I want you to express
Right.
your thoughts first because you have 45 seconds.
Okay. Oh,
Wait, was there
yeah.
anything that you wanted to say? Anything more?
We need to work better on communication because if we don't, then we're just gonna lose each other in the fog of nothingness.
Okay. Are you ready for my answer now?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so check this out. Once again, I'm going to mention Jordan Peterson. I keep telling people to freaking look this guy up, but he has a really great way of talking about how the Bible relates to just the history of humanity sort of discovering its own existence, right? And the whole Tower of Babel thing with God like confusing the languages of people, this is basically the analogy that I would draw from it. If we would imagine God as like the ideal that we would all strive towards, right? Like let's say that instead of God, we just say this is what the ideal person would act like in the most like I guess the most perfect person would be. You know what I'm saying? Like this is our ideal, you know? So when you say they looked at each other for the answers instead of God, I'm thinking about it in terms of like they were seeking answers from each other instead of this really virtuous and I guess more powerful ideal that they should all have been striving towards. And basically it's like going backwards, right? Because it's like crap, I'm trying to think of a really good way to explain this, but ultimately God is supposed to represent, at least with how he interpreted it, he's supposed to represent how someone in power should act or should be. Ruthless, yet with a sense of direction and just and loving. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody that we put into a pedestal, like for example, like a ruler or a president, it represents that ideal. And by us not looking at that one ideal and all striving towards becoming it, aka looking to God for the answer, we look to each other, obviously we wouldn't really get very far. So I guess the whole confusing language thing forces us to try and understand better, which sort of leads us back to that great ideal thing. You know what I mean? So maybe that was a smart move, but I don't know. I can't say.
I do have one question though. So God is supposed to be the ideal thing that you want to be, right?
It's more so like the ideal that I guess we would hold someone in a position of power to be like.
Yeah.
Like if we all elected one person to rule us all, we would expect them to behave in a certain way.
Right. Now, if God is supposed to be the ideal thing, then I guess from a different perspective, why? Okay, from a different perspective, God is supposed to be, he's supposed to be it, right? So someone may not view God as it, just another entity. Not the entity, but a entity.
Yep. And that's exactly where you get differences in in
Religion.
ideals and religion. You know what I'm saying? It's actually really dope when I think about it, because that's exactly how differences happen. It's because, well, what if I don't want that ideal? You know? And yeah, I think it's one of those questions that can never really be answered, honestly. But man, actually, I would love to freaking have a whole stream dedicated to talking about stuff like that, because it's really dope. But yeah, sorry, did you have any I guess parting words to share with chat? Anything that you wanted to remind them about tonight?
Yes.
Okay, what you got for them?
Communication is key, no matter the form, shape, or sound. If you communicate, there should be some way of being communicated with back.
I feel it.
There you go.
All right. Well, cool. Thank you for joining us today, man. Appreciate you coming through. You have great insight as always, my mans. And I'll
Also,
have to catch
Ali,
you on the next one. What's up?
Read the story, please.
Where'd you post it?
In the Discord, directly in Discord chat, not like to
He
you.
said, no, let me stop. All right,
Yeah.
fine. I'll pull it up.
Thank you.
But remind me after stream.
I will.
All right. Catch you later, dog.
All right. See you later, bro.
All right. So next we have in line Mad Muzz and a Royal Savage. We're going to make these two the last for the night. Sorry. All right. Wow. I'm sleepy. Okay. Mad Muzz is up next. Mad Muzz. Hello to you and welcome to the freaking show. As you can see, I just got tired. Lord have mercy. How you doing, yo? Welcome, man. Episode 11. Hey, Ali.
I'm doing amazing, dude. Amazing.
Amazing? You doing amazing?
Amazing.
I see your your videos, man. You've been defeating yourself every day.
They're trying to, yeah.
Bro, keep it up, man. Every day, honestly.
Oh yeah, mate.
All right. You already know how it goes, brother. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right. Let me turn you up a little bit. Talk again.
Yo.
All right. We're good to go. What you got for me?
Yeah, so, I mean, everything that Kat said, it's totally true. I mean, if someone doesn't listen, you know, you can't communicate with someone who doesn't want to listen. Like, they might hear what you're saying, but it goes out the other ear, and they don't process what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Now, sometimes you can eliminate that by using keywords. Like, if you know someone well enough, you can communicate with them in their own language, meaning if they only think about money and business, you could be like, so I came up with this business idea that's going to make a lot of money. And as soon as they hear that, their mind turns on. And I guess that's a way you can try to trick someone into, communicating. But
by offering money, you say?
No. When you mention, if someone cares about like money and business, if you say a keyword that they care about or that they're actually interested in, then their mind turns on. Then it's on. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the number one marketing strategy.
Yeah,
number
exactly.
one.
It's like,
that's why it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta find. Sorry.
You get them interested. I mean, obviously, some people might, if you go off track, they're gonna be like, "Oh, you lost me. Mm-hmm. Never mind." And that's the hard part. But like, I mean, personally, I find it easy to communicate with a lot of people. Like, mostly if they're like speaking to me, I find it easy because I'm very empathetic. So I can understand anything, most things people say, and I can be like, if someone's like, "Oh, sorry, I'm going off on a rant," like, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm like, no, I understand, and I explain to them like, yeah, I try to understand. And communication is two ways in the way. It's like you have to understand what one person is saying to you at the same time as what you're trying to say to them. Yeah.
Okay. Well, are you ready for me to ask my question for you?
Yes, please.
All right. So tell me, like, do you think, like, would you consider yourself, I guess, an effective communicator?
Yes.
Because it sounds like you know what goes into good communication, you know, like like showing some type of interest or making or creating some kind of interest by what you're saying, you know, like with the whole like marketing thing and stuff like that. So
it also comes into like leadership if you're like the manager or boss or whatever, because I've been in that position in my last job as I was the head person in charge of the team, and that's extremely important, is that you're able to communicate with the workers, like what you want done and what needs to be done and that sort of thing. But what I've seen a lot of people do is to lose communication is that they don't understand the individual's understanding of how to communicate. So for instance, one person might use one communication method, meaning like they yell at people, they be like, oh, if you don't do this right, I'm gonna like smack your head in, or some, you know, forcefully being a really bossy person. And that was my first boss who was training me, and he tried to train me in a certain way and it didn't work because he was yelling at me and I was getting stressed. But then when he left, someone else took over and they calmly took me through the steps, and I learned it quickly. And that's how I always try to teach people. If I'm like teaching people a certain thing, is I always try to be next to them and understand how they need to learn and what troubles them. And, you know, I go slowly. Like if you need to use some force if someone like steps out of line or something like that, but that's rarely happening if, you know, they really want to learn, or, you know, so on. So
that's also the sign of a good leader, is when you don't have to. It's like the people are doing what you're saying because it's also in their best interest as well.
Yeah, exactly. You know? And I think as the question, why is it hard to communicate with others? It's because no one takes the time to understand how an individual thinks. Like you try to communicate with them, but if you don't understand how, like what they need for you to properly communicate with them, you're never going to be able to get your point across. Like anyone can be communicated with if they're deaf, blind, mute, whatever. There's always a type of communication that you can use. Touch, you know, feel, writing, sign language, all that sort of stuff. And they can understand, you know. There's so many ways. It's not just talking and all that. So that's why I think people just don't understand. Yeah.
Okay. So I think you actually made your point pretty clear. I like how you like sort of tied it in with how it's a really effective with like the business world, because you cannot have a good business if you're not communicating well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's like one of the pillars of running a good business in general, or being an effective communicator in general, is knowing what the other person wants and being able to deploy that in some way. And I think that's like the staple right there. But that's just me. What about you? Like, do you have any like parting words for everybody? What would you like to say?
Just be open to try to understand people. Just try to be open and to understand how people want to communicate. Don't brush off what they say just because you don't agree with it. Just try to understand where they're coming from, so you can, just be open-minded in that aspect, I suppose.
All right. So you guys hear that? Mad Muzz dropping some knowledge on how to be a better communicator, you guys. For real. And apply this to your business. If there's anybody here that has any hopes of being a small or big business owner, use communication. That's going to be the most effective tool that you have. That's your number one marketing strategy. That's your number one life strategy. It's just being able to know what somebody wants and understanding that. And that,
yeah. So, and that's a good point as well, because that's what a lot of businesses people who are just starting off a new business fail to understand is that the customer, when they say the customer's always right,
The customer is always right.
that's the saying that they say, you know, because, you know, you need to please the customer. It's the fact that you need to take into consideration not only what you're making, but that the fact that customer wants a specific product when they're coming to your business, you know.
Your whole purpose as a business is to serve. That's it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And
like,
yeah,
that's it. And you have to communicate what you want, or at least get the communication out of them somehow. But yeah, man, that's it, man. Thank you for blessing us today.
I'll go, man. It's been fun.
I'll go, man. All right. Well, shit, man. I'll catch you later, bro. Thank you for coming through. And you know what I'm saying? I look forward to seeing you on the next one. You know what I mean?
All right. Catch you later.
All right. Deuces, my gang. All right. And last but not least, we have a Royal Savage coming online for the show today. Some of you guys may be familiar with a Royal Savage. She is indeed very wonderful peoples, and I can't wait to hear her answer on this subject. And I'm sorry, Yanni, you came in literally right at the tail end of it all, so this is a final answer for tonight. But come in on Thursday, 8 p.m. PST. Hello, a Royal Savage. How are we doing today? It is A. Ali, episode 11. Why is it so hard to communicate with people? How are you doing tonight?
That was a lot. I'm doing great. I'm making it. I can't believe it's episode 11. Now I really feel like I missed out on some episodes. I mean, like, I know I did, but I couldn't really like live with myself if I like really thought about it. So I'm calling in today.
What's dope about it is that I know I haven't uploaded the last 2 on YouTube. I rendered one of them today. It's going up tonight. Okay. Listen, guys.
Yes.
Listen, guys. I just need you to understand. I'm behind. I know. But what I was gonna say was, what's dope about this is that it's gonna be archived somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be somewhere that you can go back and just binge it like a Netflix series if you wanted to, or just have some shit on and listen to while you're doing stuff. That's what I like about the long form videos like this. But yeah, sorry, didn't want to interrupt you there.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's cool. It's your channel, you know.
Oh my God, stop. So you already know how it goes. You're the final answer for the night. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready. Palms sweaty, knees weak. No, I'm kidding, but I am ready.
Oh shoot, who just subbed? Mad Muzz, god damn, man. Thank you for freaking gifting a Royal Savage a sub.
No way, because I was trying to sub, but then I saw and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to wait for a little bit. Thank you.
You guys are gonna run me into the ground.
The love is real.
I just want to remind you guys. I'm gonna remind you guys real quick. 50 subs and I'm doing a 24-hour stream. I just want you to know I'm at 33 right now. So my guy, don't let me do a 24-hour stream, because that would be a nightmare for me. This is the first time I'm actually hoping I don't hit 50 subs. All right, with that being said.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right. What you got for me?
Okay, so I think it was Kat earlier who had said that she like majored in, or she's like in counseling.
Yeah.
Because of my major, I had to take intro to counseling, and it blew my mind that you can be taught to communicate. Like, there's a way to speak linguistically and like words to say and to not say that helps you effectively communicate with a person, sort of regardless of like their mood or like what they thought that they would expect from you when they came to you. So that blew my mind. Like, we need to kind of be taught, like sat down, like, and taught, like, this is how you communicate these feelings to this person. And like, I could relate to that because like I'm a creative person, like you've seen, like I write poetry. And so it's like, I can't communicate my feelings and like thoughts as eloquently as I can when I have a pencil and a piece of paper or like a paintbrush. Like, that's the language I speak, and like that's how I communicate. Like, you want to know how I'm feeling like, you want to know how I'm feeling, like what's happening, like read my poem or like look at, you know, like my painting. So then that also is what other people had touched on too, is that there's different forms of communication that people are better at or feel more comfortable with speaking in, but that others aren't able to interpret. Either because they're not good at listening. Like we learned like active listening, like leaning forward and like being quiet and like not just waiting to speak, like actually listening to this person. So like repeating words back or like mimicking their body language like lets that person feel like they're being heard. And that's where a lot of people get choked up. They're like, I don't feel like you understand what I'm saying to you right now. Like, I've been trying to tell you over and over. Exactly. And it's like, that's really where the issue is, as opposed to her or him not communicating it. They are doing that, but they don't feel like you're hearing them. And just like they mentioned before, it's like, if it's falling on deaf ears, what is this a person like supposed to do with that? So there's that. There's like, we're at fault, but then we're also not at fault. Like once you become aware of, I actually have control over how this person may react to me based on how I speak to them, like how I come at them. Like I kind of got a little bit of control over that. If I say, listen, actually there's this post that's going around on like Instagram or like Twitter, like the positive one. And it's like, instead of saying, I'm sorry I'm late, like say things like thank you for waiting for me. And like I did that today, and like the lady like glowed. She was like, oh my goodness, no, it's no big deal. And I was like, okay, I thought you was gonna be a little less stuff, but wow, okay, like next time I'll thank people for their time that they may have felt like was wasted. And it's like really easy to say and do, but like not an obvious thing, but so obvious, and it's the same way like with communication. Like you said, you can't just like go to China, but you can like use your hands and like your eyes and stuff to like point to things and like still use that hidden unconscious body language that everybody's so keen to forget about. Like your face, like that's what you're reading mostly about the person, is their face, their body language, and their tone, which is why universal. Which is why active listening feels more like you're being heard, as opposed to you saying, I heard you. It's like, did you hear me? Or I don't see you taking no action showing me that you heard what I said. You know what I mean? So it takes a level of awareness on your part, but then also realizing that other people are not on that same level of awareness with you. So how do you communicate then? Like that's still like within like your own challenge, like once you do figure that out, because we're all human and we all have our barriers, that people touched on before when they called in. And it's just hard to communicate with other people. We're all people. Like we all know how hard it is to communicate with each other. And like, that's kind of like what be stopping us. Like, what if she get mad when I say this? Or what if my professor don't like the way, or should I have said it that way? Like I've seen people like fret over that. And I'm like, wow, like that's like, it still baffles me. Like just the unconscious and like sort of like biological way we respond to communicating subconsciously and consciously. Like even though we feel like at the time in that moment it was right to say, like in retrospect we'd be like, oh, should I have communicated that? Or should I have communicated that way? Yeah. Oh, yay. Okay, I think I touched on my points.
Okay. Shoot. Well, okay. This is it sounds like you actually hit everything that you wanted to say, so kudos to you for that. That was actually really well done.
Right? I feel proud of myself. Well,
and my kicker question for you is my uppercut for you is this, right? So knowing all this, you seem to know your shit, especially as far as communication goes. So on a scale of 1 to 10, no, I won't even say that. Would you say that you're an effective communicator in your average everyday life, like all the time, I should say?
And you said on a scale of 1 to 10?
Well, you can scale it 1 to 10, but I felt like that was like a hard question to answer. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll say I'm an
I'll say I'm a 7-8, just because the way I speak and the way that I think is like, I'm not a beat around the bush type of person. Like, I like to like get to the point. So like, just because I'm that kind of person that likes to yes, no, maybe like get the answers like now, that helps me effectively cut through a lot of that, like I said, fear and stuff that people have with it's just like nope, yes or no, there's no pressure, just yes or no right now. Like I'm known for like communicating that way. Yeah, like just speak it to me, let me know, yes or no, no pressure, we got this, be good, let's do it. So I think I'll say yeah in that way. But like I said, when it comes to like feelings and emotions, that's why I get tripped up. That's why I get tripped up. I'll be like, I can't deal with this right now. I don't know. Like, yeah, that's when I switch up there.
So when it gets to that, Kiki, do you love me? When it gets to that, then
Are you
okay.
riding?
All right. Are you riding? So you'll never
ever leave beside me.
Cause I want you.
And I need you. And I want you. I'm all cuddling my cat, you guys. Y'all don't even know. Sometimes I be living a life right now.
Got me in my feelings. Let me stop.
Drake.
Well,
man,
shit.
This was great. Wow, this was awesome. I needed to do this.
Yeah,
Thanks,
I'm sorry
guys.
for that gross.
Breezy, you're ugly. I see what you said in the chat.
Oh,
just
you got
kidding.
called out, homeboy. I'm gonna hit you with the DJ.
I don't even know what's happening.
All right. Well, look. Do you have any parting words that you have for the chat here? By the way, guys, vote for the next question right now. Let's get it sorted. But yeah, sorry.
No, the chat, like y'all are great. Like it's really always amazing. Like it will never cease to amaze me to see like a group or just a community of people like come together that share like these values and morals and ideas that they don't speak of totally on a daily basis. But when I listen to you guys on the show, like you're injecting it like just slowly into everything and everybody that you do. And like, even though you're not like doing this in your daily life, like, oh, this is the best way for you to communicate, like through your example, like just keep doing that. Like you guys are just keep being yourselves. Like you guys are great. Like I really appreciate it.
Y'all are shit, man.
Oh, you're welcome, Kat. I try.
Let me stop.
Right? I can't type fast enough.
Well, shoot, man. Thank you for joining us today. A Royal Savage was on the mic.
Woo.
Wonderful as always. I look forward to hearing from you more. And yeah, that's the juice right there. Thank you.
Yeah, have a good night, everybody.
All right, night, sleep tight.
Bye. Good night.
All right, you guys, I'm gonna go into my little shadow realm in Discord and wrap things up here. All right, so that about concludes the episode for tonight. We had some really beautiful answers. This went a lot better than I thought it would. You guys always surprise me with these questions, and you always surprise me with your answers. Why is it hard to communicate? I think my answer has shifted on this a little bit. I think for the most part, I still stand strong with the belief that communication is going to be a very hard mix between knowing exactly what the other person wants and being able to make the other person feel like what they say matters as well. And also making sure that you use every avenue possible, or every avenue that you're good at, that you're gifted with, in order to communicate. Use whatever medium you have, whatever method you have, get your message out to the world. That is super, super important. That's the legacy that you will leave at the end of the day. And that's it. So, if you're watching this on YouTube, we're going to take a quick recess right now to check and see what they voted for in the chat. I will be right back. All right, so with all great things, we have decided as a democracy to vote on the next question for episode 12 of the Ali show. Episode 12 of Ali, the question will be, is money necessary? Stay tuned for the answer. If you are watching this on YouTube, please drop a comment, like, subscribe, whatever you want to do. I can't wait till I start converting these to MP3s so I can put them as a freaking podcast on their own. With that being said, you guys, thank you for tuning in today. Have a lovely day. I love you all. Have a good night. Sleep tight. And remember, communicate. That is all.